Welcome back to the baseline. Guys, we got news on Juan Soto. We got news on trades. We got news on other free agents. That's coming up here today on this podcast. I want to thank you for joining me. And guys, let's get started with the big topic. Juan Soto, obviously the man of the hour, the man that we're waiting for to fall so free agency could officially start. When I mean officially start, I mean like moves could start happening. Some moves have been made. We talked about that before. The Angels have actually been a big time spending team this offseason, but we'll get to them in a minute. But so as of what we know, he had a meeting last Wednesday with the Boston Red Sox. He had a meeting Thursday with the Toronto Blue Jays. And then on Saturday, he had a meeting with the Mets. Now, I'm going to go one by one. I'm going to describe how I feel about these moves with these teams. Let's start off with the Blue Jays. Just because, in my mind, in my opinion, I don't think this will work out for them. I understand they need that missing piece, but it won't work out because coming off the books next year, you have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Bo Bichette is scheduled to become a free agent in 2026. You need the money to sign those guys. I understand, yes, you're big on Soto. Last year, they were big on Ohtani, but I think with Ohtani, that situation was different. I think personally, Ohtani knew where he was going. He was just giving the teams the leverage. I mean, if you're a general manager and owner, hey, this is a waste of my time. I get that, but you also kind of want to maybe persuade the free agent of how great the city and the team is. But Ohtani knew where he was going. Ohtani knew he wanted to go to Dodgers. You know, so Ohtani was dead and gone. Now you have Juan Soto. Yes, I understand they have $700 million to kill. They're in a tough division, but their mindset is exactly like the Boston Red Sox, where they're seeing the advantage. Baltimore really hasn't been good like we all thought. They were good for that 1 year, and then last year they fell really short. They didn't score with any runners in scoring positions. Didn't capitalize on the Yankees' loss when they're like 2 games behind the Yankees. The Yankees will lose. They lost as well. And Tampa is in the rebuilding phase. I honestly think Tampa is going to be rebuilding. I mean, they're paying the Yankees $15 million to play at George M. Steinbrenner Field for 2025. And they also have a ballpark coming out in 2028. The new ballpark is up, built, and ready to go. So Toronto needs to capitalize on this. And I understand why you would. You were looking at probably the Yankees, but the Yankees are not really that good as well. So, yeah, you want to make it exciting, get an excitement in this city, in this division. But if they sign Juan Soto, they're not bringing back Vlad Jr., they're probably not bringing back Bo Bichette. The two guys that you want to build around. And I've heard the general managers say it time and time again. If a name comes up in trades for both of those guys, absolutely not. The answer is no. You need pitching. Jose Berrios has not been good since he left the Minnesota Twins and been over. I think he had that one good year when they made that playoffs a couple years ago. Kevin Gausman is up and down, but he is one of the better pitchers. You let go of Kikuchi, you don't have any starting pitchers anymore. At least good ones. Maybe they go after not an ace, but like a 2, 3, 4 hole guy they could go after. But if you're signing Soto, like I said, you're signing Soto, I really do expect Vlad to be gone. And Vlad has voiced his opinion. He loves it in Toronto. He wants to stay in Toronto, so forth and so forth. So Toronto, I don't know. I don't see high on it. There's really no reports. All the report that we have for Soto is that he was happy with the face-to-face conversation. He was, he liked the thought process. That's all we know, really. But Toronto, I think, has no shot in signing Soto, especially for this year. Maybe next year down the road, you could try for someone else and build your way up. Don't really go after the big guy. Try to go after the small market guys and then build it from there. Because eventually the Yankees are not going to be good. Boston's going through their run right now. Like I said, Tampa, I honestly think we got like 5 years before Tampa's actually really good. But otherwise, Toronto, I think they're out of the Soto sweepstakes. In my opinion, I don't think they have a shot. As for the Red Sox, from what we've heard, and we have there's more news with that, is it was a 3-hour meeting. Alex Cora was there, Craig Breslow was there, the president was there, a bunch of higher ups at with the Red Sox were there, and 3 hours they talked. Soto asked a bunch of questions. From what I heard, Boris was there, but I think he has to be there. But Soto was the one asking the questions, from what I've heard and read, and he asked about the team's future, and apparently he liked the answer. And then they also showed him the history of Dominican players in Boston. We all know the Dominican players: Manny, Ortiz, Pedro. Obviously, Rafael Devers right now signed that long-term extension with the Red Sox. Probably is going to retire as a Red Sox when it's all said and done. And he was pleased with how they answered his questions and how they got him rolling. And, you know, people were happy. The Red Sox were happy, and so were Soto. My thing with the Red Sox is I think they need to make this move just because they haven't had that big move in so long that it just makes so much sense to have him go there, try to reel him in, and be that, 1-2 punch with Rafael Devers. I think the team itself is good. Lineup wise, I still think they need a bat or two, and they definitely need pitching all around, starting and bullpen. From the rumors and news going out there, they're going after the Nathan Eovaldi's, the Max Frieds. I think someone said they're interested in even Blake Snell. Not bad pitchers. They're not. Blake Snell and Eovaldi actually make sense because they pitched in the AL East. They know what those teams are like. Blake Snell with the Tampa Bay Rays, and obviously Nathan Eovaldi with both the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. Eovaldi knows Fenway Park. He knows that, so that'll be great for him. He could be the ace. Maybe add Max Fried. Maybe try to add Blake Snell. And maybe a couple bullpen pieces. I know they added Justin Wilson a couple days ago on a 1-year deal. He was more mediocre. His ERA was almost 6. I think it was like a 5.86 ERA or something crazy like that. But that's what also they need to focus on. It can't just stop with Soto. It has to start with Soto. And I know people are excited. Oh, if we get Soto, that's this version of David Ortiz and Manny. I agree with that to an extent. And I say that because what Manny and Ortiz did was special. Not saying that the Red Sox aren't special, that this combo won't be special, but it was. It was Manny and David who helped break the curse of the Bambino, helped add leadership to that clubhouse. I mean, yes, I know Ortiz really wasn't a leader. He was. This was more when he started to become David Ortiz or starting to. But Manny did it with Cleveland for those many years. 20 in 2004, it was his first year. He signed that major contract, and he helped out that team. It was a special team. I understand the Red Sox haven't won, for a while. It's been 7 years, I believe. But you got to do more with Soto. And I don't know, like when you hear the rumors and the money that he's making, do the Red Sox have that budget? Are they going to increase the budget for after Soto? I mean, it's kind of hard to determine where he's like when all you're saying is, oh, well, he left, please. Hey, that's great. But he also has 2 more teams he's got to meet with that could persuade him, just like that. It's everywhere. So that's my points with the Red Sox. The Mets apparently met with him on Saturday. And again, very vague news. It went very well. I mean, that's all we have. It went very well. And that the Mets front office are left there with positivity. There is rumors that they offered him a contract. They offered him the money. But then there's some reports that saying that they didn't. So I don't know what's going on between that. The rumor is that they offered him $660 million. I don't know the years on the top of my head, or actually, they haven't said the years. I mean, Soto knows New York. He knows that the Mets are just beginning. If you look back 2 years ago, or even a year ago, Steve Cohen said, "Hey, we're building for 2025." Well, 2025 is 2 months away. Are we going to see an NL East version of the Los Angeles Dodgers? Are we getting money well spent? Are we going to get Juan Soto and Corbin Burns and Pete Alonso and, you know, some bullpen pieces for the New York Mets? There's got to be stuff done. And I know people are saying, well, you get Soto, you could let Alonso walk and you could put Vientos in the at first base and then just come up with a different third baseman. Yeah, but I think after what Alonso did for the New York Mets in the postseason, you have to sign him back. I mean, he did great in that wild card game against Williams, hit the home run, they advance. And you know what you're getting. It's not some guy you're coming out, some guy who's always going to struggle. Alonso, every year for the 6 years, 7 years he's played, has been 30 and 100. And you kind of want that in your lineup. You're going to have a lineup of probably Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Nimmo, maybe McNeil, Marte, Vientos, Alvarez. You're gonna have a decent stacked lineup, and then go after the pitching. They really don't have pitching right now. What I would do is go after Corbin Burns. David Stearns knows Corbin Burns. He drafted him in his time with Milwaukee. He knows how Burns is. There's a great relationship between the two. And you could bring back in Luis Severino, give him like a 2-year deal. Bring back in Sean Manaea, give him a 2-year deal. These won't cost as much as a Max Fried and a Blake Snell. They're going to cost you less. So why not go after them? Go after the guys that helped you out. And then you have Sasega there as well, but actually having a healthy season. from him. I know he was injury prone and he just stunk the whole postseason. But you have a healthy Sisega, it might work out, and that will be a great pitching rotation for the Mets, along with adding Soto. Until I see it, I don't think the Dodgers are going to repeat. The Dodgers have problems on their own. So be the team to dethrone the Dodgers. Be the team to light the fire and be like, you know what? The Yankees have been king of New York for a very, very long time. Now it's our turn. We're hungry. It's like it's like the little brother. The Mets are the little brother to the New York Yankees. They want to be better. I still think the Mets are the favorite in the Juan Soto sweepstakes. 100%. And I think it's also followed by the Red Sox. I don't think the Yankees have a shot. The Yankees are supposed to meet with Soto today. I'll post news on that once we find out the information and how it goes. But as a Yankee fan, like as a Yankees perspective, my dad's a Yankee fan. Uh, Craig over on Craig's Perk Recap, he's a Yankee fan. I think we've all agreed. I'd rather have Plan B than Plan A. And I'm a baseball fan. I don't have a favorite team. But for looking in as a Yankee fan, I'd rather have Plan B, which is probably either Alonso or Christian Walker at first. Probably one of the starting pitchers. Because you could probably have, probably Cortez will probably be the odd man out. I believe Cortez is a free agent after 2025. Or I want to say. So he'll probably be the odd man out. So you add a pitcher and maybe a bullpen piece like a Tanner Scott or a Carlos Estevez. There's your $700 million right there. Maybe even add Willie Adames. Adames said he'll willing move to shortstop. You need to replace Carlos Torres because after Cashman's reactions, I don't think Torres is coming back. There's no shot. So I'd rather have Plan B. Christian Walker, you probably sign for like 2 years, $15 million. He's not going to cost you that much. According to reports over on when the GM meetings happened, they talked to Boris, but it wasn't anything higher than $125 million. Again, Alonso's not going to cost you that much. You're looking at Snell and Max Fried, and they won't cost you that much either. Maybe you even go over the trading market. There's rumors that the Diamondbacks want to move Montgomery. Why not? I know 2024 was bad for him, but I think that's because he signed late. He really didn't have spring training. But now he's signed. And Diamondbacks are willing to eat up that money. as well. He's got 1 year left. Bring him back in through trade. Maybe you sign a first baseman and then go trade for Nolan Arenado. And the Cardinals want to move him. I think Arenado will be great for the Yankees. Yes, he's a right-handed hitter, but he's one of the top third basemen in the game right now. I believe he's one of the top third basemen right now. So there is a plan B. There's not Soto or bust. There's a lot of things that can happen if the Yankees lose out on Soto. And those guys I named, I'd rather have them. Because if you're signing Juan Soto, first base is Ben Rice, third base is probably Peraza or Cabrera. Jason Dominguez is up in left field, and he sucks at left field. It literally sucks. And you need bullpen pieces. I don't know. Me personally, I'd rather have Plan B. Uh, let me know in the comments. Who do you guys want? Do you guys have a favorite? Would you rather have Plan A or Plan B? Let me know. If you're a Yankee fan listening to this, who would you rather have? I personally rather have Plan B. That's just my opinion for the New York Yankees. Other news has come up is that the Twins are not looking to sell. There's been a bunch of rumors that they're going to get rid of Buxton and Correa and Vasquez and Lopez. Like, there are rumors that they're just going to sell all over. The general manager says, no, we're not going to resell. It's not going to happen. We want this core. We want to stick with it together. We want to win. Yeah, that's fun and all, but you got to do something now if you're the Twins. The owner is looking to sell. The president stepped down. I think the general manager stepped down, and then they hired a new one within the organization. The Twins are a mess. And for the years to come, until they can prove me wrong, they're a fourth place team. The Cleveland Guardians are not going anywhere. Kansas City's only getting better. And Detroit's not going to go anywhere. I think Detroit's got to add. So they have their money cut out for them. That's what I believe. The Twins need to do more than just sit there and hide in the weeds. They need to do something. I think Cleveland is going to add more pitching. I believe they're going to bring in Shane Bieber back. That's where they're lacking was pitching. I think they're going to bring him back. He makes the most sense. You started there. Then you have them plus the hitting you already have. You're kind of all set. Maybe even Max Fried. I know I keep bringing up Fried's name up, but Fried could fit anywhere. I like Fried. I think he's gonna be a good fit for any contending team. You know, his name could literally be out anywhere, and he fits with probably all 30 teams. You know, I think Kansas City's got to add more pitching. They'll probably add more bullpen help. I know there's talks that they're looking to acquire Jonathan India, but as of yesterday evening, nothing has come close. I know it was India and Singer that they were looking at, but nothing has really come close to a trade. Maybe they bring in Gleyber Torres for like a 1-year deal. I don't know. I think that would be a great double play. Bobby Witt along with Gleyber Torres, not bad, but they could do it. And then the Tigers, I think their main focus is to extend Skubal. I don't think he's a free agent for a couple more years. Maybe after 2026, I believe. But the Tigers, I think, can add veterans to this team because they have the leadership. And one guy I'm circling, if I'm the Tigers, maybe Verlander. I know the last couple of years he has looked awful and he's not vintage Verlander. But in this case, he would be a number 3 or 4 starter. Take the pressure off of him and help out the pitching. And I also say bring in for a DH because your lineup and everything is spot on. But for maybe a DH, because he did help out the Mets, bring back JD Martinez. You have Verlander, you have Martinez. Their leadership would fit perfectly with the Tigers. I'm also hearing that they're linked to Max Scherzer. I don't want to take away from the young guys, but hey, if they could do it and Scherzer and Verlander are back to the old vintage Scherzer and Verlander, Detroit's got a shot as well. I know they're linked to Bregman as well. I mean, I do like that move, but I don't see Bregman leaving Houston, and I think there's just a special relationship there that no, it just works so much. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna leave Houston. I think he's gonna stay, in my opinion. For the NL East, one name that I'm hearing that's gonna be very, very active is the Braves. I'm hearing they're in on Navaldi. I mean, it makes sense. Spencer Strider won't be back until June, July, I'm hearing. And Acuna also won't be back until like May or June. Which again leads me to a guy I did talk about earlier for the Yankees. But this one makes a lot more sense. Willie Adames over at second base. Imagine that infield. Alonso, Adames, Ozzy Albies, Austin Riley. Wait until Acuna comes back, and that lineup will be stacked. Chris Sale would. I think this is the beginning we've seen from Sale. I think he's got great more years to come with Atlanta. The pressure's off of him. But I mean, I like that fit. And to bring in Evaldi back, they're also interested in Walker Buehler. I mean, he did great in the postseason. I don't know what happened. But the last two rounds of that postseason, the championship series and the World Series, he was on fire. It was the Walker Buehler we all known and love. It kind of makes sense because the Dodgers really don't need pitching now. They come back, it's going to be Glass now, Otani, Yamamoto, Dustin May, Tony Gosselin. You got five starters right there. So might as well take a shot. Get Walker Buehler. Give him on a 2-3 year deal. And they'll be fine. The Phillies, I don't know. I haven't heard any much about the Phillies. I actually heard that they're looking to trade Alec Bohm and go get Crochet. And they are also linked to Alex Bregman. I don't know. If I'm the Phillies, I'd rather have Alec Bohm than Bregman. That's just me. Not to say that he's bad or anything, but I don't think they need him. I don't know. It's kind of tough with that one. I mean, Crochet, yeah, he's a good pitcher. Yes, the Phillies need pitching, so that I can understand. But don't trade Alec Bohm for Garrett Crochet. I that will be probably the worst trades in history. Uh, Al, if anyone listens to the podcast, we have Al on. He's from Philadelphia. He's a Philly fan. um, you know, I want to know, Al, what you think of that trade? um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see Bregman as a good fit. I just don't. I don't know why, but like once I've heard Bregman's name, I just I don't know. It just doesn't felt right. Because Bregman's been linked to a lot of teams. He's also been linked to the Mets, and I think one insider said the Yankees for a first baseman, second baseman combo he could be as, but I don't know, for Philadelphia, to me, just makes no sense. I don't think he'll go to Philadelphia. I don't know. I've been wrong on this free agent staff so much, but I don't know. I just don't see him as a good fit for Philly. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will be, but I do like the core the Phillies have. I think they just need pitching and bullpen help, and the hitters they have now just need to get better because the Mets aren't going to go anywhere. Atlanta's going to struggle for the first 2 months of that season until they get their pieces back. Philadelphia has to do something. I just think you need pitching. Maybe get rid of Tyjon Walker and add a couple more bullpen pieces. I think that's what they could do. Um, yes, the Angels. I mean, they've been busy. I know on the last pod, I talked about Kyle Hendricks and I talked about Jorge Soler. Now they're adding Travis d'Arnaud as a backup catcher. I mean, they're adding star players, not the big stars, but these are old school guys. Kyle Hendricks, like I mentioned last time, was or is a pitcher that doesn't try to throw 100 miles per hour. He just throws, and he's just an old school guy. The later innings he goes in, he just tries to work his mechanics. And Travis d'Arnaud he's a leader. In Atlanta, the players loved him. I mean, he lost his spot to Sean Murphy, so now he's probably got more leadership there. And Jorge Soler is just power hitting DH, and he's probably got hit behind Trout. But I would do if I'm the Angels. I would probably go after a third baseman, even if it's from a trade, and go to Anthony Rendon and be like, "Hey, listen, you got to prove to me you can play." One, the injuries, always injured. He's like another Jacoby Ellsbury. He probably is faking all this stuff. And number two, from your comments last time, why am I still paying you? So if I'm the Angel, I'm telling him, hey, you got to prove to me you want to play. And then you can play every day. Otherwise, you're hurting us. And I need to put a best team that's out there, and I need to compete. Because they do. They need to compete. The only best team right now, right there, is the Houston Astros. And within the next couple of years, they may not be good. So take the advantage. Oh, otherwise, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to wrap things up. I mean, if you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I would try to answer the comments as much as I can. And within the upcoming weeks, we are going to have Al and Craig on again for top 10 greatest catchers of all time. I know everyone seems to be a big fan of those. And so we're going to bring it back, like I said, with catcher. And, if also anyone likes football, go check out Craig's podcast, Perks Recap. They do a phenomenal job over there with football. And let me go what you guys think about this offseason. What are your predictions? Uh, like I said, leave a comment. And other than that, I am going to sign off, and I will see you all in the next one.